Aloha friends, and welcome to the Cleanse and Rejuvenate program. In today's video, we'll show how to use that wonderful soup stock that Malik showed how to do in the other video. We have many great uses for this, and in today's video, we'll show how to do a blended soup and also do what Malik calls warmed raw. Our digestion is supposed to be warm, so doing a lot of cold and raw food can impair the digestion and have things not really digest and assimilate properly. So it's better to have things a little bit on the warmer side. Also, since we're going through a cleanse program, the digestion lowers naturally a little bit. So it's nice to do this thing that we call warm raw. So I'll show you how to do it. First, we'll do the blended drink. So we have our wonderful soup stock here that we created. And we'll put in, depending on how many you're making for. This is about a pint right there. It looks about good. And then you can really use your creativity and also what you have access to and available in your refrigerator as far as the vegetables that you want to put into this soup. It's good with a bunch of greens, as you can see displayed here. Kale is incredible. Look at this dark green color, very rich in chlorophyll. So we definitely want to put some of that in here. And we just chop that kind of roughly because if you have a Vitamix, it's very thorough in how it blends. So we don't need to chop it very fine. Today I also had a little bit of yam, so we'll put that in here too. We have a little bit of celery, so that goes in also. And I picked some dandelion greens from the garden this morning. We'll do a little bit of that. Really great for the liver. And as you can see, I'm not measuring things out here. I'm just sort of gauging and putting in. And of course, also, you want to put in flavors, combine the vegetables with flavors that you think will be good. Dandelion is very bitter, so you only want to use a small amount. Next, we have parsley. And we can just put that straight in here. And that's about a tablespoon or so. And then some thyme. Look at this beautiful thyme. And we can just strip that because those leaves are so small. So we just strip this off the stem and put that right in. This is a great vehicle. Soups are such a great vehicle for herbs. That's what I love about soups, is that you can just put in a lot of herbs and that way get a lot of nutrition. This is some Thai basil and some basil from my garden. Actually, I grow the herbs in pots. That way I can, according to the season, sort of move them around to wherever the sun is and let them get rained a little bit on when it's raining. A little bit of rosemary also. Excellent for cognition and memory enhancing. We'll put a little bit of that in to strip a couple of needles off the stem there. And, a little bit of broccoli. Broccoli is so fabulous. Look at that, these tiny little trees. All of this produce here either comes from my garden, Malik's garden, or the local farmer's market. We're so blessed here on Maui to have access to a lot of beautiful produce, very, very mana-rich. So into this here, actually, now we put in these fresh herbs. We could also put a little bit of spices just to warm it up. Here's some cayenne, an incredible blood purifier. Just a pinch, right? Cayenne is quite pungent. A little bit of salt also. We always want to use a full spectrum salt. So that's some pink Himalayan salt. Just a quarter teaspoon there. And actually, I have a little bit of just flavor enhancer. I have some spring onion here, and we'll just put in about two teaspoons. You could also have used here a regular onion. And then because we have some cruciferous and because they're goitrogenic, as Malik mentioned, it's always a good idea to add a little bit of sea vegetable. This here is dulse flakes. They're super tasty. It's got a nice salty taste to them. And they add a really nice flavor in soups or sprinkled on other foods. We put the lid on here, and then we simply blend that up. Now, dear friends, we've blended this soup up, and as you can see, it's got a nice green, vibrant color. it is still cold, right? Because this soup stock actually came out of the refrigerator. So we want to warm it a little bit. So I just put that over here on the stove and put that into a pot. And then I gently warm it. I don't want to let it come to a boil. We're still working. We want to retain all these wonderful enzymes. So we just put it on a low heat, low flame. And then once you can feel it's room temperature, it'll be ready to serve. So we simply just put that in a bowl, and that will be our nightly soup. So let's go on to I'll just turn this off. Then let's go on to our warmed raw. So what I've done here is that I've taken that broth, that soup stock, and I've gently warmed it up. And then what I've done in a bowl, how to do this process, is that I've chopped up some broccoli real fine, because what we're going to do is we're going to put that hot broth over so that the vegetables cook just gently. But so if the vegetables are too big, the broccoli are too big, it'll still be sort of too crunchy and hard to digest. So we want to chop it real fine. A yam would not be ideal for this because it's not going to cook in just that short amount of time. But we can definitely put in some of those more leafy herbs that we didn't use before. Beautiful basil. I just love this fragrance. Incredible. And here you can do a little bit of a finer chop. And we just put that straight in. Here you can be creative again. You could use spinach. I have kale here today. 2 different variety. And, you strip it off the rib there, but I just am going to use the ends. So I chop that real fine. It's nice to have a nice sharp knife. It really makes such a difference. And just chop through that. Great. We can put a little bit of, this is Thai basil, so we're just playing with whatever we have. And of course, just having a little bit of a sense of what flavors go well together. But you can't go wrong with fresh herbs. They add so much flavor. Parsley is just such a good friend, loaded with nutrition. And then again, we can use a little bit of I think green onion is better for this. The regular onion is going to be a little bit too pungent. It depends also on your taste buds. We'll put in a little bit of the green onion or scallions. And now dandelion. Dandelion in a cleanse program is a really good idea because the liver has to do so much work. So it's nice to do whatever we can to support that processing. I had a little bit of sage, just a tiny bit, because sage is quite strong in the flavor. Okay, great. And again, just a little bit of thyme. And we just, again, strip that off there. This looks so great. Boy, this fragrance is just heavenly. So we could put a little bit, a pinch of salt in here, again, just to put that over. You could get real creative with your spices, right? You could put some turmeric, some ginger in, dried onion or garlic, any sort of dried vegetable or dry spice would be good. I'll put a little bit of our dulse flake in just to add that saltiness, but also to counter the gordogenic qualities of the kale. So what I've done now is that I've warmed up that soup stock, and we're going to put that hot liquid over, and we're just going to allow that to cook the vegetables a little bit, and then that will make a really wonderful, delicious meal. And there we go. And then we just pour this over. If you had any leftover quinoa or some cooked yam, some soba noodles. Soba noodles are made out of buckwheat. So buckwheat is not a wheat. So you could use that for your dish here also. But look how wonderful that looks. So you could just put a lid on and let that steep here for a couple of minutes. And this is another example of what to do with your soup stock. So I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you soon.